Here we go. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me for another edition of our Real Estate Backstory. My name is Alan Richard. I'm the managing broker at Max One Realtor and Realty Partners. So I'm very glad that you are starting your week here with us. We do this every single Monday morning, and normally we start at 9, but this one is I'm starting a little bit earlier because I'm actually teaching a class at 9. So you'll be able to catch this on Workplace, or you'll be able to catch this on our YouTube channel at realestatebackstory.com, that kind of thing. Also, it'll be in our newsletter. So anyway, I hope this is a helpful service for you guys. We do this every single week. And so today we're going to be talking about kind of like the future, what's going to be going on there. And we're just going to kind of jump in here. So first I want to talk about is what do we have going on in training this week? So this week I'm teaching a couple of different classes this week. So today I'm teaching the Ultimate Buyer System today at 9 a.m. I'm live in the Fayetteville office, but we're also doing Zoom, so you can catch that on Zoom. Tomorrow is actually business planning for the real estate professional. That's going to be on Zoom. This is the same class that I taught on Friday. So if you didn't catch my class on Friday, you might be able to catch it on Tuesday this week as well. On Wednesday, I'm teaching the Ultimate Listing System. This is another class that we're doing both live in person and on Zoom. So we're doing it kind of in tandem, that'd be the right word. Also on Wednesday, 2021 GAR contract changes. So the new GAR contract changes came out, and there's some really good stuff in there as well. So I just went to train the trainers, this past week. So we're going to be starting to teach that this week. Our own very own Dana Sparks is going to be teaching 2021 GAR contract changes. So that's going to start rolling out this week. But and please start getting these in. Every year. And sometimes twice a year, GAR updates our contracts. So these are the newest ones that's going to be coming out starting on January 1. These will automatically transition over to that if you are a realtor. On Thursday, we have license law for agents and brokers. Also, we're doing our weekly Tech Thursday where we kind of dive deeper on a different piece of real estate tech. And on Friday, also here in our Fayetteville office, is Show Me the Money, Take Me to Closing. It's an hour and a half with our affiliated lender and an hour and a half with our affiliated closing attorney. So we're going to have Deb from Luder, Larkin and Hunter here, as well as we're going to have Nancy Barlow from the New American Funding team. So we hope that you guys can join us in get some great classes, get set up and get ready to roll. So I kind of started off today talking about the fact that we are looking at the future. And kind of what's going on in the future. And we had two different analysis, I guess you'd say, two different studies that came out, and along with predictions for what next year is going to look like. It's that time of year where we're starting to think about, hey, what's next year looking like? And so both CoreLogic and the National Association of Realtors did their projections for the next year. And so from CoreLogic, the first thing that they wanted to, they kind of brought out is that mortgage rates are looking to remain really, really low. Through 2023, they're looking at being somewhere, having an average of in the low to mid threes is kind of where we're looking at being. And that's pretty amazing when you look at what the historical norms on interest rates are, kind of thing. We really are in kind of uncharted territory. And so that's going to be one of those things that continues to really drive forward the market. The other thing that I wanted to kind of share with you is that the millennials are really kind of driving the ship right now. Millennials make up the largest segment. There's more millennials than any other group right now. And right now, the average millennial is 28. Over the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's when they're going to hit the median first-time buyer age, meaning right now the median first-time buyer age is around 33 years old. The average millennial is 28. Well, really between 27 and 30, 31. So moving forward, we are going to continue to have a huge increase in demand for housing. And really, we haven't been building a lot of houses since 08. So we basically made more babies than we've made houses. So when you put those two together, you kind of end up with a prediction. Right now, as far as what CoreLogic is looking at, over the past 5 years, we had about a 5% increase. They're looking at next year having about 2% increase. The year after that, about 1.5 points, and moving forward into the year after that, another 4% increase. So 2 to 3% is very doable for our industry, and I think that's pretty healthy for us. You know, we throughout parts of the year, some of our months this year have been in the 12 to 14% price increases, and that is not sustainable. That's nothing that we can continue, because no one's making 14% more than they made last year. So that's not a realistic number. But seeing it that we're in that 2 to 4, 2 to 3 range, it's a really healthy place for our market to be. Now, at the same time, NAR came out, and so, well, Realtor.com came out, and they gave their 2021 forecast as far as a lot of key housing indicators kind of thing. And so they're looking at existing home sales to be up by 7% in next year, which is a pretty drastic change from where CoreLogic, on all CoreLogic's numbers tend to be much more on the conservative side. And in my opinion, sometimes Realtor.com is a little bit more optimistic. So I think we're somewhere in between there kind of thing. They're looking at existing home median sales price appreciation. How much are homes going to go up is about 5.5%. It's still a little bit high for me. I'd like to see it a little bit lower, kind of run along with inflation kind of thing. But you know, we're still seeing they're expecting that we will see positive sales appreciation moving into there. They agree that mortgage rates are going to run in the 3.5, low to mid threes on the interest rates as far as that goes. We're looking at single family housing starts up about 9%, which we really need. Housing starts is one of those things that we need. New homes. New homes start the ball rolling, because when you buy a new home, now the home that you were in, hopefully we can turn around and sell that as well. And they're looking at a home ownership rate of around 65.9%. That's been steadily rising for the past several years, and we want to continue to see that moving forward. So that to us is a very we agree with those numbers and how we kind of see things going. There are a lot of people who are going to be like, well, there's a crash coming. And honestly, I think that commercial real estate has a much higher chance of struggling than necessarily residential real estate. Residential real estate is heavily driven by the effects of supply versus demand. We have a ton more demand than we have supply to fill. We also have a lot more people moving into the buying segment, and we have historically low interest rates. So, but Alan, what's going to happen when with all the foreclosure moratoriums? Well, first of all, there's about $30 billion sitting on Wall Street right now, waiting to gobble up any kind of inventory that really does come out in January as a result of the foreclosure moratoriums. I do believe that that for most of those, we're seeing where the banks are really wanting to work with people. That we're not going to see this massive influx of folks kind of thing. It just doesn't really look to be that way. I do think that we will start seeing a few more REOs out there for sure. Not having a foreclosure moratorium anymore is going to help to put some more of those homes in the market. But we have so much pent up demand right now that that's really just going to get eaten up and taken away kind of thing. So, all right, let's move forward here a little bit. And so as far as if you broke down just what Realtor.com thinks the Atlanta market's going to do, just in the Atlanta market, their predictions are a 2021 sales growth of 3.6% and a 2021 price growth of 6.2%. So higher sales, around 3% on sales, property appreciations in the 6% range. I think we're going to be closer to 4 to 5, but we'll see where that ends up actually being. Either way, it looks pretty good for housing in the Atlanta area. So, we just finished Thanksgiving week a little bit ago. Black Friday numbers came in. Boy, they did not look great for the economy. Well, not for shopping kind of thing. E-commerce was up. But overall, Black Friday shopping in stores was down by over 50%. So so a lot of our brick and mortar retailers are kind of feeling that a little bit. On the other end, online shopping was up by about 26%, but we didn't see as much offset on that side of things. It wasn't like in stores was down 52%. On online shopping was up 52%. So there's still a gap there to go. And it looks like we're going to be seeing people shopping more than just Black Friday. Black Friday was not a huge driver for us on that side of things. Jobless claims last week, or last week, yeah. They dropped to their lowest pandemic level. And we really need to see that because we saw jobless claims for the last 2 weeks, the previous 2 weeks, really jump up. So we seeing that not only did they fall farther, but it's farther than where they were. The October numbers came in and November numbers. So we were 6.9 unemployment in October. We were 6.7 in November. So we're still showing a steady decline. It would be nice to see a much more steep decline back to where we are. But at 6.7 unemployment, we really are moving in the right direction. For the 13th time this year, mortgage rates hit another record low. Every time I say that's going to be the last one, I always am turned into a liar. But it didn't really drop much. Okay, it went from 2.72 to 2.71. So yes, it dropped, and it's enough to say it's that for the 13th time, mortgage rates dropped, but really 0.01 of a drop is not significant. But hey, it's enough to garner some kind of excitement in the mortgage market and the housing market kind of thing. On the really positive side of that, mortgage demand, it continues to really be up, and we see that as an indicator of really what short term, what are we looking at for the market kind of thing. New purchase applications last week went 9% over the week before, and right now we're running about 30% higher mortgage applications than we did last year. So mortgage applications overall is up about 30%. So it's really, really significant right now. Refis at the same time are also going through the roof. Refis right now are up 102% over last year. So what we're seeing on that, kind of as a byproduct of that, is our lenders are blown out. They are busy, which is good for our friends in the lending business. Don't get me wrong. It's a great time to be a lender. But do expect that they have some additional delays. One thing that we're really glad to see is that a lot of the lenders are giving priority to purchase applications over refis. So we're seeing that refis kind of take a little bit longer than maybe they have in the past. Pending home sales fell by 1% in October, but they're still 20% higher than last year. So, you may see in the news that pending home sales declined. Okay, yeah, but it should be declining a lot more than that, if that makes any sense. If you look at normal historical norms for where our housing market is and where we are now, we're about we're over 20% higher than we were last year, and we've been bouncing between that 20 and 30% up over prior year. And so really, if you're in the real estate business and you aren't hopping, it's on you, because there is business to be had out there, my friends, and it is rocking. All right, new home sales came in, and new home sales are up 41%. 41. So it is, we're seeing new home sales continue to drive right now, especially in the Atlanta area kind of thing. And we need that kind of thing. Median new home sales price continues to get driven up, though. They've been having some issues with supply on building materials, but we are starting to see softwood lumber prices go down. So I'm hoping to see new home construction pricing start to flatten a little bit. But right now the demand for new homes, whether it's COVID driven or just market driven, I think it's probably a combination of both. But being up 41% over last year, the builders are building as fast as they can get them to come out of the ground. For our median home sales asking price, finally dropped this year. Okay, this year our peak median home sales asking price came in right at $350,000. It's kind of a national average. For November, we came in at $348,000. So that's the first decline that we've had this year in median home asking sales price. And so, I'm kind of encouraged to see that. We've kind of needed to see some softening on the prices. Not a huge softening, okay? I don't want us to have property values going down. That's not what I mean at all. But the other side of that is the growth in the 12 to 14% range is just not sustainable either. So, and we always have some historical norms as far as when we see pricing soften up a little bit. Normally our best times of the year, to the two best times of the year is early in December and then mid-January are the two best times to actually buy a house as far as best pricing kind of thing. And actually I shared the exact dates on last week's backstory. So go back there and check it out if you want to there. We also got some other really good news this week, and that is overall nationally, 39% of renter households can afford to buy a home. Yeah, that's a really big deal. 40% of renters can afford to buy. It gets even better if you break it out into Atlanta, because here in the Atlanta metro, 48% of renters can afford to buy a home. Now, that's just based on what they're paying. The average rent price has been continuing to go up, 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 up. And, you're going to spend much higher percentage of your income on your household on your living expenses if you rent than if you buy. And so this is a really good thing. But the fact that half of our renters right now, half of our renters in the Atlanta area can afford to buy a home. This is a great news, and we really should be focusing heavily on renters, because you go to two apartments, one out of the two is going to be able to afford to buy a home this next year kind of thing, or now rather. So that's a really great thing. As far as like a typical fraction of income spent on mortgage payments, it's only 24. It's right at 24%. So it's way lower than to actually rent kind of thing. So please, if you're an agent that you enjoy working with buyers, first-time buyers, renters, this is a great thing for us. This data really shows, and we're seeing that so many of our millennials who are moving into the market are coming, over half our millennials are coming from rentals. So focusing on these rental households can be a really smart option kind of thing. We're also seeing a shift. Well, we've been seeing this shift all summer long and then all fall, and now we're starting to see it again, that the share of existing home sales searches in suburban, small town, rural, and resort continues to move up. It's at its highest point pretty much ever as far as the overall searching for people wanting to get out. And really where this affects us the most is we're seeing people that are shifting out of condos and in town. And honestly, the biggest factor driving that has not been COVID. Well, it has been, but not directly. And what I mean by that is what's driving it is the fact that so many people are able to work from home now. And so if you're able to work from home and you can stay in town and pay a certain price, but you can move out to the suburbs or out and get you some real property, a little bit of land for much lower. You're going to get a lot more land and a lot more house. You're out and that. And then for most people, they're able to still work from home. So that's kind of one of those things where, because of teleworking and Zoom and things like this, we're seeing a lot more people are wanting to move out and get a little bit more space. Is kind of really what it is. So it is kind of a byproduct of COVID, but it's not directly kind of thing. So why are sellers sitting on the sidelines right now? And so we had a new study come out, and it gave us the top 5 reasons why our sellers are not jumping into the market. I kind of want to run those through with you, because see, here's the big kicker here, is that if we can help solve our sellers' problems, then we're going to have more listings and we're going to be able to assist more clients. And so we have to be able, we have to be problem solvers. We have to be the people that fix it. And so, what are the top 5 reasons why? So let's kind of go through these. So the first one is just general uncertainty. And I know that this one's probably the hardest ones of all the list, but when people list why that they don't want to sell right now, it's kind of like it's anxiety for more than anything kind of thing. No one really knows what's going on. COVID is definitely a big deal out there, but how COVID affects the job market, how this goes on, when we're going to be moving back into more normal times. Just overall life uncertainty is a big challenge for a lot of our sellers. So How can we help settle that? That's one where it's just going to be about reaching out, engaging, and supporting our clients. The second largest reason is financial struggles. And most of these are also tied up with anxiety kind of thing. The majority of our sellers, or not majority, but nearly 31% of our sellers said that they don't want to sell because of financial anxiety. It's not that they're unemployed. It's not that they're in financial trouble. It's that they're worried about financial trouble. And you can kind of see why that kind of is. We just finished a very, I don't care what side of the political spectrum you lie on, but the presidential election and all the finger pointing and all that kind of stuff going on back and forth. That's never good for the overall economy, just to have that many Americans, going at each other kind of thing. And so that definitely adds to the anxiety. But the financial struggles continues to, or the impression of financial struggles, the worry about financial, the anxiety around financial is the second largest. The third largest, and this is something that we need to be very conscious of, says that where are you going to move to? Because our sellers know that it's a seller's market. It's a great position for them to be in. I mean, they're happy about that. But, as soon as you sell your home, or even before you sell your home, what are you then? Well, you're a buyer. And so now you're facing that same issue right there. So yeah, it might be easy to sell, but I can't move because I don't know where I'm going to. So where I really stress for you to go with this is to make your sellers a buyer first. We don't want to make our friends homeless. That's not our goal. So go ahead and meet, getting our clients to go out and meet with the new home construction folks. It's a really smart move for us right now. We know that starts freeing things up, gives them plenty of time to prepare their house to sell, those kind of things. It's a really smart move for us. So, but we've got to be helping our sellers be buyers before they're ready to go on the market. It's important that we go and get them set up in searches. We can get them pre-approved, that kind of stuff. That will ease a lot of their fears. The fourth reason why a lot of our sellers aren't is that they've recently refied. And so, if you just recently did a refi, you're in pretty good shape. I mean, we're seeing, most folks didn't buy their house, at these amazingly low interest rates, but that's probably the best thing to talk to your sellers about is like right now you can still buy at an amazing rate. Not still, you can buy at an amazing rate, maybe even lower than they could refi with, kind of thing. So, we need to be talking about the fact that, yeah, they may have recently refied, but they're still going to be able to pull out a lot of equity on there. And then the last one is that folks still have a lot of health concerns when it comes to selling their home. They're still not sure if they want other people in there. The good news is that the vaccines are coming, kind of thing. I know that it's a little early, and some folks are very anxious about the vaccines. Overall, I'm very pleased to know that we can, hopefully take care of a lot of our people that are at risk. And so I personally am very excited about seeing the vaccines coming out. I know it's probably going to be first quarter before it really makes a huge impact next year, but just having that having our folks that are worried about selling due to health reasons, it kind of alleviates that going into next year. And we really need that. So I am quite optimistic about that. So moving on, Alabama and Georgia Realtors, GAR and ARR, they issued this lawsuit trying to sue the Trump administration on as being the eviction ban being unconstitutional. And I'm a little bit torn by this, honestly, because I do believe that the landlords are taking it on the chin. I'm not disputing that, but we also know at the same time that the tenants are the ones who are the hardest hit right now during COVID. Most of our buyers and sellers have not been nearly as negatively affected as renters have. So some of the things other things we've seen is the FHA extended foreclosure REO eviction moratoriums until January 31st. So most of those were set to expire on December 31st. Those recently just got extended as well. I'm not as worried about forbearance. The majority of people on forbearance have at least 30% equity in their homes. So that's not really a big deal. And I do understand, we're landlords as well. And if your tenant isn't paying and you can't kick them out and you can't make them pay, that's a pretty tough position to be in as a landlord as well. So I understand that. And we really want to see, hopefully the Trump administration step in and do something before they leave office, or the Biden administration when they do move in. This has got to be something that we can't just, basically stick it to the landlords, but at the same time, we know that these tenants need help too. So there has to be something in between there. I kind of wanted to kind of jump into the kind of the backstory on what's going on with CoStar and Zillow. And pardon me, I'm sorry that I'm kind of petty. It's kind of great seeing Zillow have someone that is really scaring the crap out of them. Someone that is doing to them kind of what, and I'm not trying to be bitter, but, seeing how, Zillow's been pretty cutthroat. And, in the past, Zillow was like, well, we're not going to be a brokerage, and then they were brokerage, and we're not going to compete with agents. Now they're competing with agents, and we're not going to try and take existing agents, and now they are. Oh, and we're not going to sell your listings, and now they have been. So all the things that Zillow has said and done and then turned around been very cutthroat. It's kind of interesting to see what's going on with CoStar, because CoStar is the first company that really gets out there and scares Zillow. And that's kind of very interesting play kind of thing. And so, like, as a matter of fact, the CoStar founder went into Zillow and kind of like, it was last year, but he actually went to a meeting at Zillow and went in and just kind of threw it in their face and said, how can you take, your biggest source of revenue and turn around and sell leads against the people that are your biggest sources of revenue kind of thing. And so he went in and just kind of read them the riot act kind of thing. And earlier this year, Zillow or CoStar has really kind of beaten Zillow to the rental scene. I don't know if you know this or not, but CoStar owns apartments.com. And that's probably one of the biggest rental sites out there. And that has really eaten up the market share compared to what Zillow's been trying to do. At the same time, CoStar went out and they bought HomeSnap. Expect to see a ton of ads marketing HomeStar. Expect to see just a huge push for HomeStar. CoStar is going to be looking to really use HomeSnap. CoStar is going to be using HomeSnap as kind of a bludgeoning tool to go at Zillow. And as far as this whole little battle, who's poised to kind of take advantage of the situation? I'd say Realtor.com is probably one of the better ones that's probably going to win out on this whole deal kind of thing, because with the two big boys slugging it out, it's a great chance for Realtor.com, to kind of step into the game. So we may end up seeing three players kind of operate in that space, but it's kind of good not to see one company kind of running the show on that kind of thing. And I know that's not really necessarily great for Zillow, but I'm okay with that. We all face market competition. It's about time they had some. All right, we're heading into December, and all of our clients are going out and they're decorating their homes. What's that do for our listings? So first thing is we want our clients to enjoy the holidays. That's not, we don't want them to be like, bah humbug, you can't decorate, but just, what we don't want to do is to let me rephrase. I'm just going to encourage my clients not to go Griswold. Okay. We don't need, 40 blow up Santas on the front lawn, and we just don't need the house decked out in 5 billion lights. Hopefully we need pictures that have the house not in Christmas photos, because it never fails. It'll always be the middle of January. You'll still see listing photos with like Christmas wreaths on the door and Christmas trees in the living room, that kind of stuff, which might look good right now, but come listings in January, it's going to look pretty ridiculous. Oh, well, we know how long this house has been on the market kind of thing. So try to encourage your clients to decorate, but decorate, tastefully. Don't overdo it. Don't over decorate the exterior. Don't over decorate the interior. remember that we are still trying to take advantage of the best features. So filling up the fireplace with presents or with different things like that, covering up different sales features. I've seen where, we've taken, clients have taken bay windows and completely covered it where you can't even see that it's a bay window anymore. So try not to let your sellers really cover up their, the parts that they're really trying to showcase. Do consider 2 sets of listing photos, Christmas and non-Christmas. Try and ask your photographers take as many non-Christmas photos as we can. And like I said, we do want to encourage our clients to enjoy the holidays, have a good time with it. And I know that I love my clients. I don't want you not to celebrate Christmas with your family and your kids. I got it, but at the same time, if we are trying to sell a house, we need to do it with a little bit of moderation. So I hope today was helpful. If I can be of any service, please call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all. So I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And if you need me, holler at me. Y'all have a great week. Deuces.